Hello, my name is Edward Gooch. I'm with the Carr Center representing JazzEd Detroit. I chose the A Train. First of all, I was in the Duke Ellington band and played that song every day, no matter what. And the significance of that song, because he was such a famous composer, writer, arranger, and Strayhorn was his like side buddy. When they wrote tunes, they were very specific in nature. And if you take the time and just study the sequence of chords in the A Train, I think it's a good basis for beginning your jazz study, no matter who you are. And if you plan on doing something in jazz, I think it should be a core tune for you. And while studying the A Train, then I found out later on that it was quite related to Girl from Ipanema by Carlos Jobim. And if you look at the A sections of both tunes, no matter what key you put them in, the A sections are the same thing. It's the same chordal structure. And if you put those chords in your head, no matter what rhythm you want to put to it, I think it's a good beginning. A lot of times musicians, especially on the instruments like saxophone, trumpet, instruments where there's a lot of facility to be had, people will tend to just play a lot of notes. Whereas on trombone, you have to take your time and develop an idea. When I first started playing and trying to become proficient in jazz, I kind of took the scale type approach, just easy listen. People played some chords for me, and I took and just tried to get the tonal center of each chord and go from there, rather than just doing a lot of arpeggios or just playing a bunch of notes. In A Train, for example, the approach was, I can't go back to what was yesterday, but I can take you through that. The tune is in C. Here's the top again. first played the first course, I took everything simple. Then I moved into a little bit more advanced stuff. But basically, it's following the same thing quarterly. I recommend that you go to the piano and play those chords. Play them, or if you can't play them, you're not proficient at the piano, find a player who is proficient at the piano. Let him or her play those changes for you. Put those changes in your head. Get them ingrained in your head first before you start to create anything. Don't just start playing a bunch of notes and with no direction. Look at the changes. Once again, look at the changes, hear the changes, and figure out where they're going. My advice for educators, if you're not familiar with jazz or the study of jazz, start listening to big band music. Start listening to big band music yourself so you know what the feel is like, so that you're not instructing the kids to do something that's unnatural. For example, the students that I've been teaching at Wayne for the past few years, I brought in music that's actually being played by big bands all over the Midwest. I brought in the actual music. And in the first year, most of the kids who came to me had no idea of how the music, what the style of the music, how it goes, even though they've had so-called jazz band or stage band in high school. But once I explained the music to them and I demonstrated it, I played it at the piano, I played it on trumpet, I played it on trombone, I played it on flute, I played it on every instrument that I could muster up so I could give them the style of it. The eighth note, da 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 da. It's like the 16th attached to it. I gave them examples. I showed them how it's written, and I showed them classical example. And I said, this is not the same unless it says straight eighth or straight tempo. It's a whole different concept. You learn this concept. You learn the tonguing associated with. It's not ta 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 ta. It's da 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 da. Classical and jazz. Exactly what I said. Da 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 da. That's what I'm doing. There's different kind of tonguings other than tu 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 and tuku tuku tuku. In classical, you learn certain types of tonguing, and there's no deviation from it. Classical tonguing and jazz, that's the tonguing. Do 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 do. We use that on trumpet. We use it on any instrument that can produce it, and it's different, and it's a different swag in all the instruments when they play like that. If the teacher himself, him or herself, becomes familiar with the style of the music, then you can better teach your students what to do. Don't just assume that they understand because you talked about it. Most people, like myself, give me a living example that I can follow. Give me a living, play it for me. Don't talk me to death. Play me to death. And that's the way I like to hear it. You got too many teachers that teach music, especially jazz, that they don't play. Yeah, they played a long time ago, but when it comes to actually playing, they just want to talk the kids to death, talk them to death, and then you wonder why the kids don't play.
Thanks for watching. Head over to thecarcenter.org to check out their awesome local jazz programs and events.